Well, good morning, everyone. This is Jennifer Jones, the director for the Geauga-Trumbull Solid Waste District. I am welcoming you all to the 2026 Community Grants Workshop, our annual workshop that goes over our community grants that we offer to communities, nonprofit schools, etc. in the Geauga and Trumbull counties. We break down our talks into, we have 3 different grants that we offer: Go Green grants, drop off improvement grants, scrap tire grants. We used to just kind of talk through all of them one at a time. Now we break it up into 1 hour for each session with little breaks in between. So our first session this morning is going to be the Go Green grants, which is by far our most popular grant. It is open to the most different types of entities. It's open to not only just the communities, but nonprofits and schools and things like that. So it is one of our most popular ones. We usually get 60 to 70 applications a year just for the Go Green grants, and we're going to start covering those now. Technology hopefully will work well with us today. All right. Note, today's presentation is being recorded. So the slides and a link of the recording of the workshop will be available on our website, or you can go straight to our YouTube page, which is really long and ugly, but the link is on our website. So if you go to our website, there's a link to our YouTube page, and it will be available beginning of next week once I edit out all the mistakes I made. So just understand, if you're on the call today, if you ask any questions, if you do any kind of chat type things, it will be recorded. So you understand that, and by doing so, you understand that you're being recorded and give permission. All right, 2026 Go Green grants. That's our topic for this hour, 10 to 11. We're going to go over what exactly is the grant, how do we get funded, examples of what people have been funded for in the past, what kind of projects, how to apply, how to do your project, and how to get your money back. And then we'll take questions and answers at the end. All right, so first off, who is eligible for a Go Green grant? Go Green grants are open to all local governments. So if you're a government entity, a city, township, village, county, park district, other entities like that. If you're a government entity, we've had EMA, there's some other, I'm trying to think of some of the other entities that have applied. But if you're a government entity, you're eligible. If you're a nonprofit, like a registered 501c3 nonprofit, you are eligible. And if you're a school, either public, private, or a community or charter school, you are eligible to apply for a Go Green grant. You must be located in Geauga or Trumbull County, though. So, or there are some exceptions. If you have an exception where you might like, your building might be right outside of the county, but all of your services are provided for our county residents, something like that, then contact me and we'll talk it out. But by and large, you have to be physically located in Geauga or Trumbull counties. So what is a Go Green grant? A Go Green grant is up to $3,500 with no match required. If you're familiar with grants, sometimes they often require you to kick in a little bit of money on your own, and we do not do that. These are small grants. We will give you up to $3,500 for a project. We do not require you to kick in any money of your own, but if you do that, if the project you want to do is $5,000 or $6,000 and you're covering the rest yourself, more power to you. We're just not requiring you to kick in any money on your own. The grant period is from whenever the grant is approved by the board, which is a competitive grant. So not all grants, they may or may not, your grant application may or may not be approved because, like I said, we get 60, every year we get more and more Go Green grant applications. So this is a competitive grant. You may or may not get approved, just saying. If your grant is approved, which it goes before our board, and I'll get to that later, the grant period starts from the day I open the purchase order, and you have to close it out by the end of June 2027. So you have approximately 16 months to complete your grant. We extended this. We used to only be a year, and we extended out a little bit more for schools because their year, it runs different than communities. So we wanted to give them time through over their winter months to get their projects done, and in their spring to get it done. So we gave them until June to do that. It is a reimbursement grant. You must spend the money up front and then provide receipts, and we reimburse you. You have to have the money to spend up front. We're not going to give you the money and then you use that money to buy the thing. So you have to have that money somewhere in your coffers, and then we will reimburse you for the items that you specify in the grant. If, for instance, you are looking for, if you're a community and you want to put up security cameras for a drop-off recycling site, which I'll talk about in a minute, you have to have local law enforcement support, which I will go into that detail later. And all projects must have some sort of recognition to us. I don't want to blow our own horn or anything, but we like to tell people the services we provide. We want people to know that we're active in the community, that their tax dollars, you don't really get funded. We're not funded through tax dollars, but we're government. So we want to show that the money that comes to us is being used for projects in their neighborhoods. So there has to be some kind of recognition, and we can talk about that if you're approved. I mean, oftentimes if you're buying a picnic table made out of recycled materials or something, putting a little sign on it. If you're having an event, to put our logo on all the flyers, something like that, which we could talk about when and if you are approved for a grant. Okay, previous projects. So communities and governments who apply for our projects for grants. These are some of the examples of things that they have applied for $3,500 up to $3,500 in the past. All the way on the left is an electronics collection day. They had a collection where residents could bring TVs and other electronics, and they collected them and brought them to our facility or used a separate vendor to take away all of those items, and we reimburse them for that expense. Up at the top is a picnic table it has to be made of recycled materials. And just because it's a plastic picnic table does not mean it's made of recycled plastic. So you have to be careful when you buy it, especially if you're buying it on Amazon or something like that. I don't care where you get it, but it must state in the paperwork that it's made of at least 50% recycled material. So for picnic tables, park benches, you could buy recycled material garbage cans for your parks, things like that. If the only purpose, if it doesn't have a recycling purpose, if you're buying recycling bins, it doesn't need to be made of recycled materials. That's great, but it's not required because it already has an environmentally friendly purpose. But if it's something just like a table or a chair or a bench, it has to be made of recycled materials, and it must state that in the paperwork from the manufacturer. You can't just say, well, it's recycled, I swear. That doesn't work. To the right of that is a litter cleanup. So you can buy, if you do a lot of litter cleanups in your neighborhood, in your community, where you get groups together and we lend materials. We can give you garbage bags, gloves. We lend out vests and litter pickers or litter grabbers and traffic signs, things like that. But if you do it so often that you're getting tired of coming and borrowing it from us and bringing it back and borrowing it from us and bringing it back, and you just want to have your own set of materials, which several communities have done, this grant will do that for you. If you want to have a community shred day, which is down at the bottom, Weathersfield Township had a community shred day. All the paper is recycled, and it's not only is environmentally friendly, it protects your residents, their identities. At the bottom there it's hard to tell, the picture's a little bit dark, but that's a recycling bin. It's a recycling bin to put on the square for the community park, community square. So if you wanted to put a recycling receptacles, which those are darn expensive, I know, that there was probably $1,500 just for that one container. I know garbage and recycling containers are very expensive. And so those kind of containers, because it has a recycling receptacle built in, that would be covered by our grant. And then all the way on the right, that really big picture was a dump site cleanup. So we had a site that was the end of a street that no one lived on it. It was a dead end street. No one lived on it. People drove down there and just dumped all kinds of trash at the end of the street. It was an eyesore. They blocked off the street, but they wanted to clean up all of the debris that was all in the wooded area at the end. And they got one of our grants and paid for some equipment and a dumpster and things like that to clean up that site. Okay, if you are a nonprofit or a school or some of the other people who apply for our grants, schools. I love schools. We've started letting schools apply for this grant a few years ago. We encourage recycling at your schools. If you do not have a recycling dumpster at your school, we offer that service. We could put a dumpster in your parking lot for you. This is separate from this grant. We could put a dumpster in your parking lot and a company will come once a week and empty that dumpster. And you would just have to gather all the paper and cardboard inside your school and take it out to that dumpster for its servicing. So this grant would pay for any of that internal collection. So there's all the way on the left is the rolling cart, like you would take it out to your curb. These kids are collecting each of the little classroom bins. You could buy classroom bins. You could buy a flatbed cart if you wanted to do that instead. There's a lot of different things. All the way on the right, you'll also see the school wanted to do composting. So they bought some signage and some containers for collecting compost and other recyclable plastics, things like that, containers for that. They also did composting on site. So they bought some compost bins for the back, as well as some other, we've had some gardens put in at the school, raised bed gardens, that they used recycled materials for the beds. Those are common school projects. One nonprofit group hosted a workshop and gave away compost bins for a workshop. That was a new one. It was a great idea. They gave out, I think, 40 compost bins to their attendees. And so that was a project there. And then we have the bottom is an outdoor classroom where they had, like I said, they had kind of the compost area. We paid for the compost area of that outdoor classroom, but it was a whole outdoor classroom education type feel going in. That's in Champion. So we paid for a piece of that project. And right smack dab in the middle, as you can see, is a drone. That was a new one. That was Trumbull EMA. The hazmat folks were looking to buy a drone to help them manage hazardous waste spills. So rather than sending a guy in a hazmat suit to go and see what's up, they send in a drone. And so we helped pay for a drone. Drones are much more than $3,500, but we helped offset some of the cost of that drone. We've also purchased some hazmat suits and other things for Geauga's EMA. Okay, I've covered most of these, I think. Recycling containers, community cleanup. For communities, you could also use the money to help pay for your community cleanup days, where the residents come and get rid of their bulky items, their couches and chairs and scrap metal and things like that. We can help support an event like that. But if you want us to do that, you have to collect electronics. It's just our funding is limited. We only have certain number of uses by Ohio Revised Code. I'm not allowed to go out and buy a fire truck or pay for salaries for policemen or anything like that. I have 11 now. They just added another one. 11 allowable uses for my funds, and they have to be recycling or hazmat or something like that related. So if you're going to have a community cleanup event, if you want me to help fund it, you got to collect electronics for me. That way it's an allowable use. We can talk about what specifically you need to collect, but that's, I can help support those community cleanup days. As I said before, if you're going to do a plastic picnic table, it has to be at least 50% recycled content, and it has to state it in the paperwork. Also, we do educational materials for summer youth programs. We've bought t-shirts for the summer youth programs, and some recycling information, things like that, and smaller recycling drop-off site projects. So if you have a recycling drop-off site in your community, and you want to do just a small project, like maybe one more light or a camera or something like that, if it's up to $3,500, we can help pay for that project in total. Schools. I said this before, we now offer free recycling services to all schools within Geauga and Trumbull counties. We have about 20 schools that we offer this service now to, that we provide this service for. It's offered to everybody. We've provided to about 20 schools now, and we're slowly, as more schools hear about it or switch from whatever provider they're using, if they have one, we're doing that. But also, if you're a school, besides doing the recycling containers or the internal collection materials or starting a compost, if you wanted to have your environmental clubs or something go on a trip to a landfill or to a what we call a MRF, and see right in the middle it says MRF, we say MRF. It's a recycling center where they sort all the bottles and cans. It's a really cool, actually, a really cool field trip. We can pay for that. We can pay for a guest speaker to come and talk to a group about an environmental topic. We could also pay for professional development to pay your teachers to receive training to do environmental lessons in their classrooms. So we want to help you provide those kind of services in your school, have those kind of classes. So if you have anything else that you can think of that sounds like it might be something that we would potentially fund, give us a call. These are just ideas. This is not an all-inclusive list. Okay, nonprofits. If you were a nonprofit, park benches, like I've mentioned before, to create an outdoor community garden, to host a community educational program, like I said earlier, there was composting, recycling, something like that. If your Green Red Hat Society wants to go to a MRF or a landfill, we can help pay for that. If you wanted to host a community electronics day or a paper shred day for your community, it has to be open to the public. It can't be just something, you know, your neighborhood does for your neighbors. It has to be open to a large group of people. Purchase equipment for hazardous materials, which I discussed, having a litter cleanup day. And once again, the Go Green Grant is very vague. I mean, it has very broad guidelines. So if you are curious if this project would be something, if your project would be something we would fund, call me and ask me. I'm happy to. Last year, just for instance, I didn't put it up here. A local nonprofit asked, they were doing some renovations at a building, and they asked if they bought recycled materials or reused or recycled materials, could they have funding for their renovation? And I asked the board, and the board was okay with it. And they were funded to do their renovations at their building or build the section of their building, whatever it was, with recycled materials. That project isn't done yet because they have till June, but once it's done, I'm going to show pictures of that as well. So that was funded because they used recycled or reused materials. So we're open to ideas. Once again, please call me or email me if you have any questions about that. Okay, so what can you spend the money on? You could spend the money on buying equipment, renting equipment, paying a service contract like to an electrician, or if you're getting some kind of specialty work done, a plumber or a pavement work, or I don't know what kind of contract stuff you're getting, like the cleanup, the illegal dump site cleanup. You have a guy with a digger. I'm sorry, my brain's not working. Excavator, that's what it, or a skid steer or something like that. If you're paying someone to come with a skid steer and excavator to come and clean that up. Dumpsters, it'll pay for dumpsters, it'll pay for disposal costs, things like that. It'll also pay for safety awareness or recognition if you want to, any kind of signage for that, and any advertising or awareness for an event. So if you're having a cleanup day, you put an ad in the paper or boost it on Facebook, whatever, it will pay for that as well. We will not pay for employee salaries. So if you have a community cleanup day, I cannot pay for your employees to be there. That's kind of a basic government rule. We don't pay for your employees' salaries or overtime to do that work, or any benefits or administrative costs. We can't pay for food. So if you buy donuts like today, the donuts here, so all of you who's at home, you're missing out. We have donuts here. We can't pay for food or entertainment or anything like that for any kind of event. You can't pay for a petting zoo to come to your cleanup day and use our money to do it. Sorry. You also can't use our money to buy any land to do any work. Those are kind of basic government rules. We don't do that. Also, notice it really, really big. We cannot reimburse you for any expenses that occurred before the grant contract is signed. So you cannot go out today and order or buy anything today with the expectation that you're going to get the grant, or either way, you don't care if you get the grant, you're going forward with the project anyway. And if you get the grant, great, then you'll just use that money to pay it back. I can't. It's just not, the auditor does not let me reimburse costs that occurred before the purchase order was opened. So please do not go out and order or buy anything until you have the grant paperwork in hand, the approved grant paperwork in hand. And do not buy anything that was not included in your original grant application. So if you asked for, let's say you were doing a litter cleanup and you were buying grabbers and pickers and vests and some other things like that, and you decided to completely abandon that project and you were going to go out and get something else. I'm trying to think. We had one group, oh, here, I'll give you an example. We had one group, they were going to buy picnic tables made out of recycled materials. They decided that they didn't have the money to do a different project, and they used the money supposedly in their internally, because we're reimbursement. They used the money to fix a problem in their public bathroom. And at the same site. And they said, well, we didn't have, because we had to fix the bathroom, we didn't have the money to buy the picnic tables. So they submitted the receipt for the bathroom repairs and wanted us to reimburse them for that project. That's not how it works. You know, I can only reimburse you for what you asked for in the grant. If at some point you decide, oh, wait, this project isn't going to work anymore, can we pivot and get something else? Would this be eligible? Email me, ask me. If I have, and then I'll look at it and decide, yeah, that's fine. You know, if you're not getting a table, you're getting a bench instead, perfectly fine. Looks good. And I'll email you back. And then I'll update the grant paperwork and I can reimburse you for that. Do not go out and just change your mind and decide to go buy things, buy them, and then submit receipts for the new things without clearing it with you first. I did not reimburse them. I could not reimburse them for that. And then they were out that money. Okay. Cleanup fund, if you're going to use this for a community cleanup, as I said, to be eligible for a community cleanup day or a trash day in your community, you have to collect electronics. Minimum TVs. If you want to take more than that, great, but you have to at least take TVs. They're our number one item at our facility. We have two facilities. Of all the electronics, we collect about 450,000 pounds of electronics every year. Over 60% of that is TVs. TVs are a huge need in the community to be able to get rid of TVs. So you must collect TVs. We will reimburse you if you decide renting a box truck to transport those materials to us after your event is a reimbursable expense. We will take it at our collection facility after the fact. You must drive it to us. We are not going to come pick it up, and you have to schedule a day to come and drop it off prior to your event, please. Do not just call us that morning and say, hey, we had a cleanup on Saturday. My guys are leaving now. They'll be there in 20 minutes. Please don't do that to us. We like to plan ahead and have extra workers there. Sometimes we get paid workers, that extra workers from like Randstad or one of the hourly worker places to help us deal with that influx of materials. We like to plan ahead because you're not the only one having a community cleanup. In April and May, there's easily 5 or 6 of you. We have 55 communities. There are easily 5 or 6 of you every single weekend having a cleanup. And so if you all showed up Monday morning with all of your materials, we'd die. So please call ahead and schedule something with our staff at least a week or two beforehand, preferably as soon as you set the date. If you know it's going to be May 5th, call us and say that so we know, okay, you're going to be here on Monday the 7th or whatever that Monday is. We also can help you. We can also provide some signage to help you promote your event, which I think is on the next screen. I'll show it to you. We have some signage to help you promote your event. This is all kind of duplicating it. I just really wanted to be thorough. We can help you provide, I can help you make flyers for your event to say what you're accepting and what you're not. You don't have to accept everything. I said that before. And we can also provide little metal cages to collect up all the small electronics like VCRs and DVD players and stuff like that, so they don't roll around in the back of your truck. You choose what you want to accept. You have to bring it to us in pickup trucks or dump trucks or box trucks. Do not get it in a dumpster and then bring a dumpster here and dump a dumpster load of stuff in our parking lot. That doesn't work for us. We tried it in the past to be nice, you know, this has been a learning experience for us too. And everything rolled out and crashed and glass was everywhere and it was just not a great day. It's a typo. We can provide metal cages to contain small electronics. So we can help you do that. So if you're going to do this, if you are funded and you're going to have a community cleanup day, please call Andrew when you schedule your event so we can get you on our calendar. Here's the signs. So if you're going to have a community cleanup day or an electronics day or a trash day or scrap tire collection day, we have new signs with these little A-frames that we can lend you to do that. So we can drop those off, or you could come and pick them up, and along with the little cages, and help you kind of direct traffic on our cleanup day. And it gives us more, you know, it has our logo on it. So there you go. And the EPA's logo. Okay. Here's an example of the flyers that I can provide. This I did for Fowler a couple years ago, but I can easily update it to whatever you specifically are willing to take. And it also has some instructions for your staff on how to prepare the materials to be dropped off to us. It's not complicated. It's just, it makes it easier if everything's kind of sorted easier for us. Okay. So you have a project in mind. How do you apply? So applications can be submitted online, electronically. So you can download an application and sign it, print it out, type all the information in it, print it out, physically sign it with a pen, scan it and email it to me. So that's option 2. Option 1 is to do everything online, electronically sign it online, all that, the super high-tech version. Second is to print it, sign it, scan it, send it to me. And the low-tech version is to print it out, or I can even mail it to you if you're super low-tech. Fill it out on paper and mail it back to me, or drop it off. Some people even drop them off. That's fine too. You can fill out the entire application online and submit with an electronic signature. That is the easiest and most popular way of doing this now. You go to our website to download and get the applications and to apply online, or I can email or mail them to you directly, whatever is most convenient. I understand a lot of you are not computer savvy. I'm willing to help. Just call us and email us, whatever, and we will help you get through the process. All right. So you want to go to the website and you want to fill out the applications. Now, I practiced this numerous times yesterday, so we're going to see if this works. Here we are. Oops. Nope. It's not working. I think you guys can see it, but I don't think the people in my room can see it, which is going to be frustrating. Hold on one second. People at home, it's not sharing the screen properly for the people in the room. My bad. Hold on. There we go. Now. Sorry, technical difficulties. Your screen did not change as it was intended to do so. Okay, working now. Good. All right, so this is our page on our website. This is our community grant page on our website. You will go to, if you go to our, here I'll show you our regular website. If you just go to our website, there's a thing over here on the side. You can either choose one of these guys, click here and take it to this community grant page, or it's under other activities community grant page. There's a few ways to get here. So you've got to our community grant page. Scroll down a little bit And you will see all the different choices you have here. So we have community grant, community Go Green grants, drop-off grants, and scrap tire grants. So we're going to look at the community Go Green grants. So if you wanted to just download the application, fill it out on paper, you would click here and it would pop up and you would print it, type it in if you want, or just print it, fill it out with pen and paper and scan it and go from there. There are also detailed instructions on this page walking you step by step, question by question, which I'm going to do in a minute. But if you wanted to follow along with the instructions, there's a detailed instruction thing on how to fill out the application. Though we've tried to make the applications as simple as possible, as you'll see. So, but we're going to go through actually applying online the whole process. All right. I just want to make sure that's, yep. All right, so this is the screen that comes up, how to apply for a Go Green grant. So you would type in your organization name. So the Village of Testing. There we go. We're just going to do testing. And then you would type in your name, the address, phone number. The authorizing official is the person who's allowed to sign. So sometimes it's the secretary or maybe a clerk or something like that, but the fiscal officer is the official, or maybe one of the trustees would be the official, the chair, trustee chair would be the president, whatever would be the official name and title and signature. You would put that there. They would be the ones who are actually physically signing it at the end. That's what you type in here. Then whoever I'm going to be in contact with, because sometimes it's not the same person. Maybe the person who's signing the paperwork isn't going to be intimately involved in this project. They're just the person who signs the papers. I get it. So this is the person who's I'm actually going to call and say, hey, what's going on with your paperwork? Or the person who's going to be calling me and saying, Jen, I have a question. How do I do this? This is the information you put here. So I'll put this, and then your phone number and your email address. So I have it. So when I reach out, this is the person I'm going to email updates. Hey, we're about 6 months out. How's the project going? We're 3 months before closure. How's your paperwork coming? Just a reminder, you close out in June, something like that, All right. Those are pretty simple. Next, where are you going to be doing this project? This is a very simple question. If you're having a community cleanup day, the address of the place you're doing it. If you're having a litter cleanup or an illegal dump site cleanup, where are you doing it? If it's going to be kind of a little bit of everywhere, just say the Village of McDonald. We're doing it all over the place. It doesn't have to be ridiculously detailed. We just kind of want to know where are you and what are you doing. Next, project narrative. Give a brief description of the project, why you need it, and what your goal is. And remembering that you have to be done by June of 2027. So you would just type in here, we're going to do a community cleanup day in May 2026. Oops, yeah, just do that. If you have the date already, great. If not, I will be reaching out to you later to find out what that day is, and just go into detail why this residents love it. It gives them an opportunity to get rid of their TVs and all the other stuff. If it's a community cleanup day, we will be accepting TVs. Because if it doesn't state it in there that you're going to take electronics, I'm going to be calling you and asking you, are you taking electronics? Because if you have a community cleanup day and you don't accept electronics, I can't reimburse you legally. I can't. So please, if you're doing a community cleanup day, which is one of our most popular items, most popular projects, you have to collect electronics or I am legally not allowed to reimburse you for that project. Okay. Anything else like we're doing an illegal dump site cleanup. We're going to get some park benches for our local park, our town square. They're going to be made of recycled materials. Simple. 2, 3 sentences, 4 sentences at most. You don't have to write a whole diary. Okay. How are you going to tell people about said project? If you're having a community cleanup day, you list how you're going to advertise it. If you're buying some kind of equipment, like the picnic tables or something like that, you will, if you're doing something at your school and you're putting out composting and you're doing some kind of collection inside your school, just tell us what kind of signage you're going to, how are you going to explain to your residents, to your students, what you're doing so that they can participate. Education is a huge piece of projects. If people don't know what's going on, they don't participate. So we just want to make sure that whatever project you're doing, that you're sharing it adequately so that people are aware that it's happening. So you have a successful project. We want to support successful projects. So if you need help with that, ask. I have promoted many an event, many a project. I can help you share, give you ideas to help you share. Question 6. It's sad that I have to put this in here, but as a condition of the reimbursement, all grantees must be required to show acknowledgement of district grant funding in their project. You have to put our logo somewhere. Just acknowledging, you have to initial that, yes, indeed, you are aware, hey, that's JJ, that's me, Jen Jones, that you know that you're going to have to put our logo on something. Just saying. Grants, that's a pretty common grant request. So, okay, products, and I will request when you get reimbursed, when you ask for reimbursement, I'm going to ask for proof of that. So just so you know, I can't give you it limits our ability to reimburse. Anyway, this number 7, what are you planning on buying? Basics. If you have it in like the project idea in your head, but you haven't gone out and got quotes yet, that's okay. You don't have to have quotes. You don't have to provide things. Just say, all right, I'm going to buy some park benches. I don't have a vendor yet. See how it says if already chosen? If you already know who you're getting it from, great. If not, no problem. The description is 6-foot benches times 3. You're buying 3 benches, hopefully. And just so you know, I put that on here just to remind you, it has to have recycled content. So make sure when you're shopping for it that they have, many of them are 100% recycled content, but it depends on its color. Sometimes if they're dark, like if you get a dark green park bench, they might be a little bit less recycled content just because they have to put in more real stuff for that color. So it might be 80 or 90% or something like that. So just pay attention, because if you buy it from China, it's a plastic bench, but it may or may not have recycled content. So, and if you're buying park benches, and then you can pay for the cement, the concrete bases, times 3 bases, to mount for mounting. Mounting, I can't spell mounting, and there's no recycled content needed for that. I get it. That's just concrete. That's all I need for that section. Now, this seems to be the most confusing section, and I get it. So this is, I'm asking, what are you spending your money on? There are 7 or 8 categories here. If you're not using the money for one of these things, leave it blank. If you're not disposing of anything, don't put anything there. If you're buying, so equipment would be like a park bench. So if you're going to be spending all of your money on a park bench, go ahead and put it all in there, $3,500. And then you're going to want, how much of that is grant funds you're requesting? Well, I'm going to ask for all of it. But if the picnic bench is $5,000, if you're buying 5 picnic benches and it's $5,000 because they're $1,000 each, I'm asking for $3,500. It automatically calculates for you that there's $1,500 left that you have to come up with on your own. We're not requiring you to put a match in, but if the total cost is $5,000, this calculates for you how much is coming out of your pocket. It also, if you want to just do some advertising of a cleanup event, if you want to do more than one project, I have many communities that they'll have a community cleanup day and put $2,000 towards that. So let's do that. We're going to pretend like Warren Township does this all the time. So I will use Warren Township as an example. So they're going to do a community cleanup day. So they're going to have disposal costs. So they put $2,000 towards the trash and electronics and whatever disposal recycling bill. They're going to ask for $2,000 for that. Their disposal costs are normally like $3,000. Then they usually get like a picnic bench. So we'll do $1,000 there. I'm going to ask for $1,000. And then they're going to advertise for that event. A couple $100, $100, whatever. And then maybe some extra signage. So we'll do $400 there. See, look at that. That's everything that they're having a picnic bench and a community cleanup day. Both of those you can combine into up to $3,500 for multiple things. So if you want to get litter cleanup equipment and a picnic bench and whatever you have left, throw it towards a cleanup day, that's fine. You can do that. And it automatically calculates, it adds up for you here what the total project cost is. If you type in more, if I type in like 1,000 here, it automatically keeps this at 3,500 and adds that to your remaining costs. It will not let you ask for more than $3,500 because that's the most we can give you is 3,500. Okay. Then if you have quotes or pictures of whatever it is, or you want to send us pictures of the site for the dump site cleanup or something like that, you are welcome to attach them here. If I click on this, it brings up a window. You can't see it, but because I'm only on one screen, but it brings up the Windows Explorer where you can attach a file to each of these things. You are not required. These are optional. If you want to attach things like quotes, feel free. That's where you do that here. And then after you're all done, whoever your authorized official was who at the very beginning, either your trustee, your fiscal, or you, if you're officially allowed to sign these things, you type it and type in your signature. So, and it types it all pretty like that. Okay. And then this says, officially, do you want to sign? Are you sure? Yes. Click to sign. Then what this is Adobe, what it's going to do is it's going to send you a confirmation to your email. So I'm going to type in my email address. That's me. Going to say, hey, we just emailed you a link to make sure that you're legit. Now, this is the fun part. Am I going to be able to share what that looks like? Here we go. There we go. Now I have it on this screen too. Okay, so on my emails, I get an email that says, please confirm your signature here at the top. So you have to click on, you have to do this or else it does not send the application to me until you confirm your signature. So you click on this and there's a little confirm my email address. Up comes this little thing that says your signature has been verified. Hopefully everyone at home sees that as well. And then I get an email. At this point, I get an email that says, hey, we received an application. When I receive that application, I'm going to go back to my email and you'll see what it looks like on my side so you can understand what in the world is happening next. Good. Okay, I get an email that says, Jen Jones has, it says Jen Jones has signed because I'm the one who filled out the application. That's very confusing. Should have put like Bob Jones or something. So I get an email that says your signature is required on this Go Green Grant application. So I open it up. Then I have to go in and sign it myself. This is what it looks like for me. Scroll. Yes, okay. I go along to the bottom, see it's all filled out, yada, yada, yada. And then my signature down here, that I received it. I'm signing it that I received it because in previous years, supposedly applications were sent and there was a glitch in the system or something and somehow I didn't get it. And then when all the applications went out and all the approvals went through, communities were called, it was always one community would call me and say, hey, we applied. Did we get approved? And I go, I never got an application from you. I have no idea what happened. And just somehow Adobe, it glitches. I don't know what to tell you. It's technology. So this is my fail safe this year. I will sign it. Once I click to sign it, you will get a confirmation email saying I signed it. That lets you know that I received it. It's in my books. I have it logged. You are in the queue. Okay. If you don't get an email from me saying Jen signed this, please reach out to me, because that means that some glitchy thing happened in the way. Twice it's happened in the 5 years we've been doing this. One community 1 year, one community another year. And I don't want that to happen. We were able to make it work, and I found some money and we were able to move things around to make it work. But I just don't want that to happen to anybody. So that's why we do that. If you don't, make sure you get an email from me stating Jen signed the contract. And all that is a receipt. Like, I received it, it's in the queue. All right, let's go back. I got 10 minutes left. We're doing good here. Okay, yes. So we've filled out the application. All right. So if you are going to fill out an application and you've never done one before, you're encouraged to send us a draft. You can send it to us. You can actually physically apply, or you could do the download thing and type it and don't sign it and email it to me that way. Or you could just call me and ask me over the phone. I'm fine. We're not especially Nazis about it. I'm not, if I see mistakes in it, but I get where you're coming from, I'll call you and ask you, did you mean to put that in that column? Sometimes people will put all the money and they're paying for it, and they'll ask for no money in the grant. Well, obviously you're asking for grant money, so you put it in the wrong column. I get it. So I'll call you and I'll ask you, and I'll make the changes on paper, initial it, and I'll send it to you, and you will say, yep, that's what I meant. Thank you so much for fixing it. It's okay. But please send a draft. If you're going to send me a draft, send it the week before, so I have a few days to get a chance to look at it, make changes, send it back to you, give you a couple days to fix it before the deadline. The deadline is Friday, January 30th. So it is a hard deadline, because once we get those in, we'll start going through them and present them to our board of directors. So when will funding be decided? The board of directors, my board is the 3 Geauga commissioners and the 3 Trumbull commissioners. I get them all in a room. I provide them all of the grant applications, a summary of all the grant applications, and then they decide how much money we have budgeted and what we're going to spend. I will tell you, at this point, we have $100,000 budgeted for Go Green grants and $100,000 budgeted for drop-off improvement grants, which we didn't talk about here yet. Last year, we got $150,000 in applications for Go Green grants last year. The board opted to go ahead and go over and approve most, if not all of them. I think there was one we didn't approve, but they opted to go ahead and approve them all, go over budget. Does not mean that they're going to do that this year. Just saying. So every year we have 100,000 budgeted. So depending on how many we get in, how much people are asking for, we'll decide on how many get approved and whether or not the board wants to approve it. I do not have the last say, the board does. The board of directors meets at the end of February. I believe our date is February 24th. It's a Tuesday. It's the last Tuesday in February. So once they make that decision, those decisions, I will reach out to you Wednesday at the latest Thursday of that week and let you know, first off, if you were either way, if you were approved, if you were not approved, and what next steps are. Typically, I send out an email that says, hey, you were approved. Great. Here's your next steps. So if you get funded, I will email you a contract. So I will create, it's a boilerplate contract. All we do is plug in your name, your entity, and the amount you're getting. You will sign it. Whoever your authorized people are will sign it. You send it back to me, I sign it. Once those are signed, then I open up a purchase order and you can officially start spending money. You sign and return it to me as soon as possible. You cannot buy anything until I open the purchase order. Please do not, because I cannot reimburse you. If you decide you want to significantly change any of the items you want to purchase, you have to email me and ask me. It has to be in writing. If there's small changes, like you budgeted $500 for one thing and $500 for another, and one thing ended up being $700, so you're going to spend a little bit less on the other thing to make up for it, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to ask me for approval for that. Those are small changes. But if you're buying A instead of B, please email me and ask me if that's all right, because B might not be okay. It might not be something that is approved or an allowable use for me if it's a completely different type of project. All right. So once I give you the go ahead, once I say, run with it, here's your paperwork. Go out and do what it is you said you did in the grant. Please follow the grant. Pay for all of your expenses. Buy, order, buy, do whatever. Have your event. Pay for everything. Then you have to complete your closeout paperwork, in which you attach to the paperwork will be copies of your receipts and copy of your payment. So like a printout from your payment system showing that you cut a check, a warrant, or whatever you call it. All of that paperwork has to be done by June 30th of 2027. However, if you get it done earlier, you are welcome to submit as soon as your project is done. You do not have to wait until June 30th. You can submit it at any time, as soon as it's done. So here's the closeout form. It's super simple. It's one page, really. The second page is if you buy equipment, we like to know what you bought, because we get a lot of questions about so-and-so buy. I'm looking at buying a camera for our whatever. What kind of camera do you suggest? So I can look and see what you bought, ask you how you like yours, and then use it as a recommendation for other people. That's the only reason I have that equipment. This is page 2. If you did not buy equipment, disregard page 2. Page 1 is super simple. Who are you? How much did you spend? What did you spend it on? Please attach invoices. Please attach proof of recognition, like your flyer with our logo on it. Take a picture of whatever, our logo somewhere, you put it on it. Or to take a picture of your table with a little sign, usually they put a little, not a sticker, a plaque or a little plaque on the middle of in the center of the table, funded by Geauga-Trumbull Solid Waste. Something like that. Take a picture of it, send it to me. And just any other miscellaneous comments. Look at this is one page. It's like if you're writing it out, it's 1 sentence, 2 sentences. We make it as simple as possible. Sign it, send all that information to me. We will submit for reimbursement. It's easy peasy. If you have questions about it, please ask. Okay, the grant schedule. So if you want me to look it over before you submit it, please get it to me by January 23rd. The deadline is January 30th. The grant award decisions will be made at the end of February. But you do not start spending any money or ordering anything until the contract is effective, which is usually mid-March. By the time I get all the purchase orders open and the contracts back, and et cetera, et cetera. And then you have until June 30th of the following year, June 2027, to get these projects complete. We'll start with, this is questions and answers. I will start with questions in the room. Does anyone here in the room have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
So apparently we already filed for this.
Okay.
And we did not put that we would accept electronic devices.
Okay. Are you going to accept electronic devices?
Yes, we did last year. We actually dropped them off here last year.
Okay. So here, I'm going to come over here by the microphone.
And we do let the public know that.
Okay. And that's what if you don't put it in the paperwork, I would reach out to you and say, are you taking electronics? Or I would look and see, did you do it last year? And I would just reach out and say, make sure you take electronics because I can't reimburse you if you don't. So if you already have the application filled out and you didn't do it, that's fine. We'll make a note. Any other questions in the room? Yes, sir.
I just have 2 quick questions. Is there like an approved vendor list of any sort for benches, picnic tables, that sort of thing, or buying the bins?
Okay, so the question was, do we have an approved list of vendors for the picnic tables or benches? No, I don't have an approved list, but I can provide you with who the vendors previous people have used, sort of like the equipment one before. I can tell you, like, there's a 4-poly is a common, there's several in Geauga County that have them. I can provide you with ones that other communities have purchased from before that are 100% or an appropriate recycled content. But I don't have like a specific approved list. You said you had 2.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the other one, I've had a experience with a grant where there's a certain percentage of labor versus like a bench, and then it gets installed or assembled and installed even.
Yeah.
Where there can't be up to a certain percentage level of the labor versus what the actual cost of the supplies were. Is there any, like if the supplies cost $1,000 and the labor's $1,500, is that a problem?
Okay, so the question was, some grants that this person has applied for grants before, and there's a ratio, like you can't spend more on labor than you do on the actual equipment or entity itself. Just the understanding that I can't pay your employees to do it, but if we're paying a subcontractor or a contracted services, I don't have any requirements. You can, if the guy, the handyman LLC is putting it in for you and they're going to charge you $500 and the item is $500. I get it. That's how much it is. So I don't have there's no rules as far as that goes. As long as I'm not paying your employees to do it, I can't do that. Any all the way in the back. Yes.
If we've done scrap tire and an electronics, but we've done it in conjunction with the city. So at our scrap tire, we're not doing any electronic collection, but
Yes.
is that because it's scrap tire is separate?
Scrap tire is a completely separate grant. So the question was that you're Hubbard, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So Hubbard Township, Hubbard City does a combined, you guys always apply together for a Go Green for double the
That's my
amount.
other question is,
Yes.
is it possible to get copies of the previous or?
Absolutely. Multiple questions. I'm talking loud over here because the microphone is up here.
Gotcha.
So the question is, if communities work together, if multiple communities work together to have an event, can you apply for more money? And yes, we have, like, Hubbard Township and Hubbard City work together to have an event for both of their communities. So because of that, we offer them up to $7,000 because they have a huge event. Rather than them each having a $3,500, they combine their funds and they end up spending less than $7,000. So it's better for us anyway. So yes, you can apply for up to $7,000, and what the application won't let you do it, but I override it when you send it to me, and I'll show you when that happens for the people. So if you want to do that, just reach out to me and I'll fix it when you send it to me, because the application itself has limits to $3,500. She asked about some of your communities you have a scrap tire day and a cleanup day and electronics day all at the same day. It's a free for all. Yes, you can. The scrap tire grant is completely separate. We're going to talk about that at noon. But yeah, that funding is different, and there's separate money there, and that's already approved in the budget. So that's not competitive. So if you have them both the same day, you would just present the scrap tire bills, you would attach to the scrap tire reimbursement, and then the electronics and trash bills you would attach to the Go Green reimbursement. So, and I can help you walk you through that on how that would happen if you were going to do that. Is that kind of what your question was?
Yeah. And is it possible to get a copy of the previous?
Yes. If you are new to the position and haven't filled this out before and you want to see what your people did last year or 3 years ago or whatever, we have copies in perpetuity. Just ask, and they're all scanned, so I can email them to you or print them and mail them, whatever. Just ask. Anyone else in here? Yes, sir.
You know that pictures, if you use your sign boards,
Yeah.
you don't.
Then you don't have to buy any signs or do anything. His question was, if we use our signboards, which are, you can't see them, but they were on the screen in the room. They have our big logo on them for the cleanup day or whatever. That's enough advertising for a cleanup day.
Even without a picture.
Even without a picture, because we know that we will have record that you came and borrowed them for the day. Anyone else in here? Questions? No. Okay. Anyone online? I haven't heard anybody talking. I don't hear anybody. If you can't, I should not have, I made everybody unmuted. But if you have problems and want to ask a question, you can put it in the chat. And Lisa from our office is monitoring the chat. Or if you think of something later, please give me a call. So we're going to move on because it's already into the next time. This always happens. I have to zip along. Okay. So our paper shred days are April 25th and May 9th. Just so you know, our facilities are open all year round. And our 5-year plan, if any of you were involved or heard me come and talk to your different groups. Our 5-year plan was completed and approved. Thank you very much. Will be good from 2026 through 2031. If you have any questions, please call or email me. Here's all of our contact information. There's Andrew's contact information for you to reach out to him when you have a cleanup day. And paperwork wise, Lisa is our payment guru, so she will be able to tell you what was submitted, what wasn't, when the check was mailed, whether or not it was cashed, stuff like that. She's all about the finances. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for attending. The video will be posted on our YouTube channel next week. Thank you very much.